I'm Emmett, and I'm just going to briefly introduce our video in which we basically establish a baseline on what human trafficking actually is and some misconceptions, and we're all in this, and it was very well edited by our cohort member, Vivian.
To me, human trafficking seemed like a really faraway issue, and it seemed like something that would never really happen in my community.
Before working on this project, I would say I knew very little about human trafficking, and I fear that's a very common theme amongst people in general and not just teens.
Human trafficking is forcing people into unwanted sex, labor, or marriage for commercial reasons against their will.
It should go without saying that human beings are not commodities to be sold and exploited by others, even in the 21st century.
Human trafficking is a topic that's not talked about as much as other problems in this world, but it doesn't mean that it's not important. It's very important.
People don't really talk about it because it's taboo in our society, and it happens much more often than you might think. But it's an issue that needs to be talked about and needs to be solved.
We hope to shed light on that, as well as educate people on the topic.
Human trafficking is a process of using force, fraud, or coercion for some type of labor or commercial sex act. Human trafficking is this broader term, and within it comes sex trafficking and labor trafficking. Sex trafficking is a process of using force, fraud, or coercion for a commercial sex act, and labor trafficking, on the other hand, is the process of using force, fraud, or coercion on someone else for some type of labor.
While it's true that women in general are at a higher risk for human trafficking compared to men, men are in no way immune to it. Men are on average trafficked a year longer than women and are more likely to be forced to take part in producing illegal pornography. Labor trafficking is also on the rise with men compared to women.
Actually, the countries with the most amount of human trafficking are China, Russia, Romania, the Netherlands, the UK, and France. These are among the 50 most developed countries in the world, except for China, which is in the top 75. Every continent in the world is involved in human trafficking. In the United States, it is most prevalent in California, Texas, New York, and Florida. Human trafficking is both a domestic and global crime, with victims trafficked within their own country, to neighboring countries, and between continents.
This is true for about maybe half the cases of human trafficking, or of people who are human trafficked, but majority of the cases are labor related of some sort, meaning the human traffickers, when they prey on their victims, they're going to be used for labor. Now, with this being said, it doesn't mean that sex trafficking is not important. It's still very important and a dangerous topic, but majority of the cases will be for labor.
The U.S. State Department estimates that there are 40.3 million people being trafficked worldwide. 24.9 million people are forced into labor, while 15.4 million are forced into marriage. 37% of those married victims are children, and 21% of the victims of sexual exploitation are children. 30.2 million of the victims, which equates to 75%, are 18 or older, while 10.1 million, which equates to 25%, are children under 18.
Anyone could be trafficked, no matter your age, race, or gender. However, some groups of people are more vulnerable to it. Immigrants, people with disabilities, survivors of abuse, and homeless and runaway make up most of the human trafficking cases. They are targeted due to their mental, physical, or financial instability. Traffickers would recruit the victim by offering job opportunities, using force, or by grooming them.
The effects of human trafficking are tragically life-altering for survivors. Physically, survivors may experience anything from brain trauma to gynecological health issues. Psychologically, many are left with PTSD, substance abuse, anxiety, depression, or even suicide, while trafficked children commonly have slowed mental development. Many victims are forced into criminal activity, potentially leaving them with a criminal record and barring them from future opportunities.
Regarding the issue of human trafficking, there are a lot of potential red flags to look out for. According to Love 146, these red flags include a sudden change of dress style without an explainable source of income, being excessively monitored or controlled by an adult, possibly an older boyfriend that insists on speaking for them and being present at all times, being detached from friends or family, showing signs of sexual abuse, physical abuse, substance abuse issues, and psychological or mental disorders. They cannot explain where they've been or what they've been doing, and they have excessive security measures at their work and home spaces with a constant traffic of men there.
These are some resources for human trafficking. The National Human Trafficking Hotline is 888-373-7888. The short message service number is 233733 and text help or info. These services are available 24 hours, 7 days a week, and include more than 200 languages. For further information, go to humantraffickinghotline.org.
Okay, sorry, let me just get us back. I don't know how to make it smaller. Really, I don't, but people know that I have some technical difficulties with things, so just give me a sec. There we go. Okay, we're back. Go ahead, everybody, sorry.
Okay, so now that we've received a little bit of more information about human trafficking, we are going to share some discussion questions with you guys to answer in breakout groups. And then a representative from the group can come back and share the answers in the main room. And the questions are, what stood out to you about the video? How has the video challenged or changed your prior assumptions or knowledge about human trafficking? And overall, how can you use what you've learned today in the future? So I think the breakout rooms will come soon.
Yeah, I think so. As in, maybe Eli can help with this.
Yeah, I just opened them, and I think people are going into them.
Okay, great. Yeah. Perfect. So once people are going into them, we'll see you back in, like, let's say 3 minutes, maybe?
Yep, I'll close them in 3.
Okay.